Deflategate. So the Ted Wells report came out. Should I read you the story here very quickly?
Yeah.
Set the tone
I would
here?
say while you're setting the tone that do you find it somewhat odd that it comes out not during the Super Bowl, not during the Pro Bowl, not during the Combine, not during the draft, and they conveniently finish and put out the report after all of those incidents are over during the OTAs.
Sure. But I'm going to take an even more sinister approach. It's a dead time for the NFL right now. They're finding a way to stay high profile. Now, it's not a good story. It doesn't reflect well on the NFL, but they're still in the news, more so than any other sport right now because of this. All right, let me read you the story.
Surprised they didn't release it at midnight.
Yeah, this is from ESPN.com. The NFL has found that it is probable that New England Patriots personnel deliberately deflated balls during the AFC Championship game in January, and that Tom Brady was probably at least generally aware of rules violations. Ted Wells' report was 243 pages. He is the league-appointed attorney, so he's independent of either the league or of the New England Patriots or any other team. The report says, for the reasons described in this report, and after a comprehensive investigation, we have concluded that in connection with the AFC Championship game, it is more probable than not that New England Patriots personnel participated in violations of the playing rules and were involved in a deliberate effort to circumvent the rules. In particular, they've concluded Jim McNally, he's the locker room attendant for the Patriots, John Jastrzemski, an equipment assistant for the Patriots, and Tom Brady were at least generally aware of the inappropriate activities, and they are absolving, the report absolves Bill Belichick and other Patriots management of any responsibility. They say, as far as they can tell, Belichick and management did not know what was going on. Thoughts, Mr. Page?
Well, let me start at the top.
Okay.
Robert Kraft, the same guy who said, testified that Aaron Hernandez told him he didn't do anything wrong. Robert Kraft, who is Roger Goodell's best friend among all the owners, at the Super Bowl after Deflategate, was seen at parties with Robert Kraft, a party, I should say, comes out and says several weeks ago at the Super Bowl, several months ago now, that he expects an apology if nothing is found. Well, something's been found, and rather than he issuing an apology to the NFL and to all of us, he is saying he's disappointed in the report that it really didn't show anything. I'm paraphrasing, I'm shortening, but he said they will abide by whatever the NFL decides, and I'm going to start with the strongest statement I'm going to have for you today or this week or maybe this month. Tom Brady should be suspended for a full year. A full year? Season. He should be suspended for a full season.
Wow.
He refused to cooperate. He refused to provide text. He had lied in his press conference, which was the only time he really spoke on the matter. He didn't release any information that was called for. He didn't try to help with the investigation. He harmed it. He did not aid it. He was opposed to it. And I think Tom Brady should get the highest suspension possible. And if I were commissioner, I would suspend him for a year. The league has suspended a general manager of a football team for texting messages to the sideline for 8 games. That, to me, does not operate in the same area as deflating balls. And if there's anybody watching this show or participating in this show, or you who doesn't think that he hasn't been doing this for years and it hasn't in some way helped the Patriots win, and if you can't consider that the Patriots have a history of cheating, either tweaking the rules as they did in the game in which they had against Baltimore, where they had eligible wide receivers in ineligible places. I talked to 2 of the videographers who participated in Spygate.
The Broncos version, or the Patriots version?
Patriots version.
Okay.
2 of those guys I have talked to. One later came to the Broncos. One later became an assistant golf pro and still is in Hawaii. And I've talked to both of them. The quote that came to me directly from the one who was involved here also in Spygate 2, or McSpygate, said to me, nothing was done with the Patriots without the approval and without the initiation of Bill Belichick. I actually believe he may have had nothing to do with this, but they have a history of so many actions.
Trying to skirt the rules, trying to circumvent the rules.
And as a result of that, they've won Super Bowls. You can't take away the Super Bowl victory from them. You just can't do that. But Pete Rose bet on his own games. That was cheating. We had two people, including Paul Hornung, who was a great NFL player, banned for a year because they bet on games. The other was ended up on Monday Night Live. He played Mambo in the movie, the Mel Brooks movie.
Alex Karras.
Alex Karras
Mongo.
and Paul Hornung were banned for a year. We had a situation in New Orleans where they were paying off players, headhunting. What happened there? The head coach was suspended for a year. You don't think this falls into that category, Les? So my statement is Tom Brady must be suspended for the entire 2016 season.
Look, there's cheating here. He cheated. There are degrees of cheating. You brought up a great example. Farmer, the general manager in Cleveland, is suspended for simply texting to the sidelines, which is circumventing the rules, of course. This is cheating of a higher order. But 16 games, Wood? Really?
A year.
That sounds like a lot to me.
The NFL has
see 4 to 8
suspended people
games
for a year.
No, you're right. You're absolutely
for drugs.
right.
They've suspended people for other issues outside of football. They've just suspended Greg Hardy for what, 11 games?
10. Yeah.
10 games for off-field actions. This is an on-field action.
Do you think Roger Goodell has the gonads to
I
suspend?
use the word balls, since this is a discussion of balls.
Do you think he has the balls to suspend one of the 2 or 3 most popular players in the game, one of the top players in the game, for a full year?
No, I don't think he is. I don't find it funny. I don't think he does have the balls to do it for a full year, or the onions, or the gonads, or the nerve.
Cojones?
Whatever it might be, he doesn't. But I'm telling you, that is the word of the day, suspension. The words of the day are suspension for a full year. When a coach for the New Orleans Saints, there's not proof that he knew anything about what was going on with the defense and the defensive coordinator and the players.
But he was the ultimate authority, and it was going on underneath him.
He was suspended for a full season. I repeat myself. Is there anybody that believes that this is not of that category, that the coach was suspended for a full season? The defensive coordinator who was involved in it was suspended until further notice. He is now back in the NFL. Just because he's Tom Brady, just because he's maybe the face of the NFL, maybe he's replaced
Well, certainly
Peyton
one of the
Manning
highest profile faces, that's for sure.
I think that we have the reason why Richard Nixon had to resign as president was not because of the action. It was about the lies.
The cover-up, yeah.
Bill Clinton lied. Then he later said, well, yeah, I lied. Lies in this country, rather than taking responsibility for your actions.
They don't play
Tom Brady got up in his press conference and said, I had nothing to do with this. I don't know anything about it. Well, there's enough proof in the emails and text messages that here we had a situation where the clubhouse assistant was saying to the clubhouse attendant, I want sneakers. He was asking for payoffs in order to take the needle and stick it in the football, just as I did. And I showed you how to deflate the football. They were not doing this on their own. There's no way they would make a decision of how much poundage was in the ball.
Of course
this
not.
came directly
Brady
from Peyton Manning, and it had come on.
Brady.
I'm sorry, yeah. Tom Brady.
He's culpable. I don't think there's any doubt about it, according to this report.
Do you find it funny that he didn't communicate with the assistant for 6 months prior to the accusation of Deflategate? And after that, phone records show that he talked to him 6 times. What was he talking to him about? Want to make sure my jersey looks nice for the Super Bowl? No. The culpability here for those 3 guys, Tom Brady said, and I asked him to sue me if he doesn't think so. Tom Brady said, I want right on the edge or right below the edge. And he did that in the Baltimore game. He did that in the Colts game. He couldn't do it in the Super Bowl because they kept him so far away from the footballs that he couldn't do it.
I think a person or two will be fired here. I think Brady will be suspended a year. I don't know if the NFL has the gonads for that.
What would you do?
I would probably suspend him somewhere 4 to 8 games, somewhere in there. And I know you don't think it's enough, but I can't imagine
Maybe
the NFL
10
suspending.
Games. Would you accept 10 games
Sure.
as a compromise?
Sure, and I think Broncos fans would too, by the way. And number three,
why
number
would be
three,
10 games?
Yeah, I think the club itself will be fined. And might even lose a draft choice or two. Think about it.
I don't fines and draft choices.
I know they don't mean a whole lot.
That's what happened before.
I'm just saying it will probably be part of the punishment.
If you are a serial cheater in the NFL, at some point, somebody's got to take action.
No, you're right. It's an accumulation of bad things, of culpability for this organization. And I think they're going to pay for it, either in a hefty fine or maybe even the loss of draft picks. Let's keep in mind, this didn't happen during a regular season game against the Buffalo Bills. It happened in the AFC Championship
happened in a regular season game against the Buffalo Bills.
I'm sure it did
Players are suspended for 4 or 6 games. Von Miller, it was reduced
for smoking
somewhat.
dope.
For smoking dope.
Yeah.
Wes Welker goes to the Kentucky Derby and takes a roofer or something.
Roofie.
Roofie.
A roofer is somebody who puts tiles on your roof.
He goes and takes a roofie. I've never taken one. Isn't that a shock? And he gets suspended for 4 games. That's reduced because of a technicality. They changed the Players Association agreement about suspending players. Players are easily suspended. Why not Tom Brady? Does the league have the nerve, I'll use that word, to suspend him from the first Thursday night opening game of the NFL season? They better have. They better have. Or this is just a continuation of the NFL thinking it's above everything, which it is, and that Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, Tom Brady can get into trouble. We're not going to do anything.
I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be Roger Goodell right now. Hey, that first segment was brought to you by the Harmony Foundation. It's Colorado's premier treatment program for drug and alcohol addiction.
Sure.
Located just outside of Estes Park on a private 45-acre mountain campus. They are insurance friendly. So visit harmonyfoundationinc.com for more information.